welcome to the Tokyo 2020 edition of Olympians for Life. I'm Charmaine Crooks, five-time Canadian Olympian and former WA Vice President. Thank you everyone for joining us from Tokyo and around the world for this very, very special event. Now, we're a part for this event, but this is one of many Oli House Tokyo 2020 activities brought to you by the World Olympians Association. We're here today to talk about the incredible achievements of Olympians on the world's greatest stage, and we're also here to honor those who have excelled in many areas of their lives beyond the field of play. In just a few minutes, we'll hear from IOC President Mr. Thomas Bach, OLY, and WOA patron, His Serene Highness Prince Albert of Monaco, OLY, who will announce the 5 Tokyo Olympians for Life recipients. Following that, these 5 newest Olympians for Life members will join me for a sit-down panel discussion, and I can't wait. But first, I'm pleased to hand it all over to WOA President, Mr. Joël Bouzeau, OLY.
Thank you, Charmaine. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all our Olympians and honored guests from all around the world. I'm delighted that so many of you could join us today. I would particularly like to welcome our esteemed patron and fellow Olympian, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco, OLY. Thank you for taking the time out from your busy Olympic schedule to be with us. I would also like to thank International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach, OLY. He's also the honorary WA President. He can't be with us live, but he wanted to be part of this important event, as you will see later. This is our 3rd Olympians for Life dedication ceremony and our first online. Originally launched at the Rio's 2016 Olympic Games, Olympians for Life was created.
そこで Olympians for Life が
above
créé pour rendre hommage
a better place. 5 outstanding Olympians were honored in Rio with a wonderful photo exhibition and reception at Oli House. 2 years later, at Pyeongchang 2018, a further 5 worthy and inspiring Winter Olympians were appointed Olympians for Life and inducted to our Roll of Honor. This year, as you can see, we are doing things a little differently. I am proud that our innovative approach has enabled us to come together once again to honor those Olympians who have excelled both as athletes and as role models. Olympians who, through their deeds and actions, have made a significant and lasting impact on society. I am sure you will all agree, an Olympian's legacy is felt far beyond the field of play, long after the closing ceremony of the Olympic Games. As ambassadors of the Olympic values, Olympians embody excellence, friendship, and respect throughout their daily lives, often playing a vital role as leaders in their communities. It makes me extremely proud to know that every day, in every country around the world, Olympians are making a positive contribution to the lives of others, working hard to exemplify the Olympic ideals and ensuring the spirit of the Olympic movement lives on. This is the essence of what it means to be an Olympian, to be OLY. Speaking of Olympians who have made a big impact to their lives, I would now like to share with you a special video from the President of the International Olympic Committee and Honorary President of World Olympians Association, Thomas Bach, OLY.
Dear President of World Olympians Association, my dear friend Joël Bouzeau, dear fellow Olympians. The Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 opened just a few days ago. And it is fantastic to see the athletes finally making their Olympic dream come true. I would have, of course, loved to join you live, but things did not go as originally planned because of the pandemic. Therefore, I hope I can count on your understanding that I can only join you virtually. As Olympians, we all experienced the magic of the Olympic Games. Participating in the Olympic Games is the pinnacle for every athlete's sporting career. This experience also makes us very humble, because this experience teaches us we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We are part of an event that unites the world. And we know that we can become bigger than the sum of our parts only if we are together. And I'm sure we all carry this Olympic spirit with us for all our lives. Olympic experience inspires us to spread this spirit, to contribute to making a better world through sport, and to inspire new and young generations of athletes. With the Olympians for Life Award, WOA celebrating outstanding individuals who exemplify this true Olympic spirit. My dear fellow Olympians, dear Julius, dear Donna, dear Kochi, dear Ellen, and dear Rachel, you demonstrate in an excellent way what it means to be an Olympian for life. With your many impressive initiatives, you are making a difference. You are making a difference in your communities, bringing positive change to people's lives. You are role models for young people on and off the field of play. You are living our Olympic values of excellence, friendship, respect, and solidarity. So let me please just say thank you. Thank you for spreading the Olympic spirit in everything you do. Thank you for showing us in an excellent way that whether in sport or in the many other challenges in life, we are always stronger together. My heartfelt congratulations on this award to all of you. And now please enjoy celebrating and enjoy being celebrated. All the best from Tokyo and enjoy your ceremony.
Thank you, dear Thomas. And now it gives me a great pleasure to invite our patron, His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco OLY, to announce the 5 Olympians for Life to be honored here today.
Thank you very much, dear President, dear Joel. Good evening to you all from the Akura Hotel in Tokyo, Japan. Konbanwa. Good evening. It's my great pleasure to be here with you today to award and to unveil the newest Olympians to be awarded the prestigious honor of Olympians for Life. This honor is bestowed on the World Olympians Association on Olympians who have had a great deal of achievements on the field of play, but also made a significant and positive contribution to society and the lives of others. The Olympians who have clearly demonstrated what it means to embody the Olympic spirit. In uncertain times like these, Olympians who use what they learned by taking part in the Olympic Games to inspire their communities are a beacon of light. Some have devoted their lives in promoting peace through sport. Others have joined the fight against the pandemic, while some campaign to improve the lives of disadvantaged young people and increased development through sport. Whatever has led them to this point, they all have done one thing in common. They all draw on their Olympic experience to help make the world a better place. At each edition of the Games, we awarded 5 Olympians this special accolade. For Tokyo 2020, these are our Olympians for Life. Julius Achon, OLY. From Uganda, athletics, middle distance. For his ongoing efforts to improve healthcare and education for children in Uganda while rebuilding his local community after decades of civil war. Thank you. Donna De Verona, OLY, USA, swimming. For her tireless promotion for gender equality, inclusion, and sport development in America and around the world. Donna, congratulations. Koji Murofushi, OLY, Japan, athletics, hammer throw. For his leading role in sport development in Japan and his efforts to help his country to recover after the Great East Japan earthquake of 2011, and more recently, the COVID-19 outbreak. Koji. Omedeto.
Thank you.
Alan Pascoe, OLY, Great Britain, athletics, hurdles. For his achievements as a pioneer within the global sports marketing industry and his extensive charity work in Britain. Congratulations, Alan. Rachel Lynch, OLY, Australia, hockey. For her selfless work as a nurse on the front line of the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic in Australia and her role as a mental health ambassador. So my heartfelt congratulations to you and to all our very worthy recipients. I, along with the entire Olympic movement, applaud your efforts and your contributions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Serene Highness, OLY, and congratulations to all the new Olympians for life. What inspiring stories that you all have. And I can't wait to dive into more, to learn more about your incredible accomplishments away from the playing field. So let's kick it off with you, Julius. Julius, you know, you're in Tokyo now, and we've heard so much about the incredible Uganda Children's Fund that you have set up in your home country. Tell us, what led you to this?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much, my fellow Olympians, our president, the prince, and the organizer for World Olympian Association. My name is Julius Achon from Uganda, who became as a child soldier at the age of 11 years in 1988. Then I escaped. Later on, I joined athletics. At the age of 11, I competed. And then there was no transport. I ran 72 kilometers to go into the race. The following day I ran and I won the championship. Now from there, I was given a scholarship in the capital city of Uganda, 500 miles away. So when I left my village, there was no hospital by then. When I achieved the World Junior Athletic Championship in 1994 in Lisbon, Portugal, I was granted a scholarship to go to United States. In the first dream, when I arrived in United States, I said, if I ever make it on top of the world, I want to go back and build a health center. People were dying in my community. The nearest health center was 72 kilometers walk. And that's what inspired me more. When I reached in the United States, then I found there was so much in other part of the world. How can I give it back to the community? So a year 2011, when I retired from track and field athletics, then I had very small money. I began with the orphans, 10 orphans who were sleeping under the bus. And then I began the funding for the building the health center with my friend from Australia, my friend from Portland, Oregon. So from there we joined hands and the health center was open in 2012 in the memory of my mother who was killed in the war. And that's how I began what we call Achon Uganda Children's Fund. And in 2016, the community, they were so happy and touched with what I've done for them. Then they encouraged me to join politics so that I would send their voice to the government. In 2016, I joined politics. I became a member of parliament to represent my electorate in the northern Uganda. And since I joined, I brought electricity, the first electricity ever in my community with a population of 300,000 people. Then I brought the clean water. I raised funds in Australia, about $300,000. We drilled 46 new wells in the community with a village of 502 villages with a population of 300,000 population. As I speak now, because of Olympic has made me transform and conform the lives of the community. And I'm so proud that sports is a stepping stone, is the way that makes us succeed. When you struggle, it's better to look back and help those who need help. Thank you so much.
Your story is transformational to so many, and we're so proud of what you do. And your Olympic experience, you continue to draw on that. Maybe just I'd love to hear what specific things that you do draw from your Olympic experience in your political life now.
Well, on the Olympic experience that I had so much, you meet different kind of people in the planet. And everyone has a different story. There are those who come from a deplorable life, and then those who come from a successful life. Mostly for us from Africa, and also a country where there are wars, such as in northern Uganda, where I grew up from, where people sleep outside on the street. So when I joined Olympics, I found out it's one of the experience that makes you come out of the problems. Then in politics, I think because of Olympics has made me famous, where everyone in my country, they listen when I speak, because I speak through experience, what I went through. And I have also to respect the government, and also I respect my fellow Olympians. Then when I received the news to be inducted among the fellow Olympians, it was such a moment where I had to pray that God can see you from a very small village and pick you to become known. And I said I must remain humble and keep doing the best for the lives of people of northern Uganda.
You're certainly doing that and beyond. And thank you for sharing an incredible story. I'll move now to Donna De Verona, my dear friend Donna, who was just 13 years old when you won swimming gold for the US in Rome in the 1960 Olympics. Donna, I know that what you've done has shaped my life and many women around the world, but how did it shape your life since?
Well, Charmaine, first of all, I want to thank WOA and the leaders for creating this incredible organization. I also want to congratulate Julius, Koji, Alan, and Rachel for all their work on the field of play, but certainly after. These are the treasured stories that don't get told often when we have to stay in the moment and really focus on what's happening on the field of play in Tokyo. But why this organization is so important is that we need to get these stories out, especially with the stresses on the Olympic Committee from outside and within, with people that either want to use it for politics or for personal reasons. I think it's a question of communication and education. But I have to tell you, at 13, when I traveled from California all the way to Rome and experienced a diverse world, it was mind-blowing. I had never seen diversity in my world. And walking into the Olympic Stadium too short to see the torchbearer, this is 1960, civil rights hadn't bubbled up in our country to the extent that it had. And there was this tall African-American basketball player without a word. pick me up and put me on his shoulders so I could see the torchbearers entry into the stadium. I got to know the track and field stadium, track and field athletes, Wilma Rudolph. I became an honorary, that's why we're so close, member of the Tiger Bells famous team. But I went back to an America that was bubbling up, as it is now, with questions about race and diversity. I decided then at 13, I knew that I hadn't made the Olympic team without everybody behind me, without volunteers, without people like this organization. And I decided that if I ever made the podium, I would use the podium to make a difference. And fortunately, we've seen since the games in Rome, we've seen the sport embrace Paralympians, Special Olympians, expand on the world from 60 countries to 206. All of us that have experienced it, I think, now have an opportunity with the stresses going into Beijing to get the word out about all the treasures we are. And so I want to congratulate Joel and His Serene Highness, all of us that really discard our titles and our backgrounds to be part of a community that really embraces the Olympic movement, and the world needs us. So I'm just so honored to be part of this group, and thank you for recognizing me. I do wish I was in Tokyo. That would have been my round trip, but I'm very proud of everybody stepping up and hosting the games and pushing through the criticism and the challenges.
Mm-hmm. Well, Donna, we're certainly proud of you as a long-standing advocate, champion for equal rights, equity and inclusion in sport, especially when it comes to women in sports. So how has sport changed in this regard since your last Games appearance that was right here in Tokyo back in 1964?
Well, I want to do a shout out to the Japanese women athletes and the men. But I remember in Tokyo watching the volleyball team, the Japanese women's volleyball team, win the gold medal. And if you look back at a lot of the Olympics, the Japanese women really do well. And if I'd been covering it, I would have wanted to do a whole story on the history of that. But it's changed from those small countries to events to the hip sports. I think Sam Ranch started that, and Bacchus continued with the leadership to bring in the youth by bringing in sports that are popular, that appeal to the new generation. Skateboarding, absolutely great. I'm glad to see women's softball back in the Olympics with the US and Japan hoping to face off in the final. But also we're seeing more diverse people on the podium, not just a few countries dominating, but as Julia said, he did benefit. He got to come to the United States and compete. We have been, especially in women's sports, under Title IX, which was a federal law. I did go into politics. I didn't run for office, but I was a consultant to pass Title IX of the Equal Education Amendments Act. That in my day, there was no sports for women in college or high school. It was all club. Now it's opened up over the years. And I think that's why our women do so well, is because we have an advantage. And I wish every country could have a Title IX. But again, I love the Olympic movement and we have to stay strong. So thank you, Charmaine, for the question.
Thank you, Donna, for all you've done for women in sport. I know Rachel and I have certainly benefited from all the work that you've done. So thank you. Rachel's beaming down there. Okay, we move now to Koji. This is your hometown. This is incredible, hosting the games here in your home country. And, the past decade has been so monumental. It's, of course, you as a Japanese Olympian, you've inspired your country through so much: natural disaster, pandemic, and now hosting the games. First with Tokyo 2020 as the sports director, now you're commissioner of the Japan Sports Agency. So Koji, if you will, why is it important to have Olympians like yourself and others in these key leadership roles?
So good evening from Tokyo. First of all, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for receiving this wonderful award of Olympians of Life. His Highness Prince Albert and President Joel Bozo and rest of the our fellow Olympians. I would like send gratitude to everyone that it's in online. we couldn't see each other face by face. But I'm happy to attend this meeting today. Thank you so much. We are excited that the Olympic has been started opening, and then already sending to the world excitement of athletes in competition. So we are very much happy about sending these the gratefulness of the sports to the world. So I like to say about that. Beside my athletic career, I was at the end of my career. I was involved. I was lucky that able to involve in a sports administration, which is one of my highlights. Tokyo 2020 sports director, and I was appointed in 2014. So, and then I have been working for nearly 7 years working on that. Main work is, as you know, my job was responsible for 33 Olympic sports and 22 Paralympic sports, leading our sports team and then communicating with IOC sports department and international federation to set the best stages for the athlete to compete. That's what we're. And now I work as in government, Japan Sports Agency. It was a great experience to work 6.5 or 7 years in organizing committee. When I was competing, athlete is mainly competing, but now for these many years being working under Tokyo 2020, I know the more background of the sports events. So if I would never probably understand, I was just competing, but as on behalf of Olympia, I'm proud to involve in Tokyo 2020 games, know about both field of play and the background of the sports. Special highlight was one of the highlight was new. We were able to propose and then for the new sports, which is today we got gold medalists from skateboarding. Yesterday from men's skateboarding in Japan won, and then today again a woman, which is and she's only 13 years old. Amazing. But she won. Yes, so we are proud that not just the traditional sports, but we selected these new sports to bring new wave or new to the Olympic Games. So we are very proud of that we choose these new sports. Also, this Olympic game also, as you know, 2011 we had an earthquake and tsunami disaster. But this year will be 10 years from disaster. And we positively believe that sports has the power to encourage people in Tohoku, that region, to stand once again from a disaster. So we believe on that. Of course, now situation for COVID-19, thanks for support from international friends and Olympians. Of course, we are able to hold wonderful events and started, so we just kicked off. So we believe that we are able to send positive message around the globe, even in this situation.
Absolutely. And on that message, what do you hope Tokyo 2020 will inspire in your own country at this point and moving forward?
I believe now it's very much focused on the sports and athletes. So I think it's simply their performance or their through the media, you will know the background of their life too. We learn not just competing, but we learn their each lives, how they overcome the situation in this difficult time. Even 1 year postponement, they have been kicked out of the training facilities or they didn't have any competitions, very small chances, but they are trying very hard to come to Tokyo. So I like to, everyone to focus how they overcome, even if they don't have a medal or not, it doesn't matter. You're standing on the best stage in the world, and everyone watches around the globe from through a TV or internet. So they should be very proud and compete on that, and then hopefully people will encourage from their performance.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that great encouraging message to all your athletes, Koji. That's amazing. So we move now to Alan Pasco. Alan, you've noted many times, I followed your career for so many years, and you've noted so many times that you're fortunate that your life has been really seeing the best of both worlds, success as an athlete and as somebody in business as well. Tell me, what does one bring to the other?
Well, yes, hello, everybody. I'm very fortunate. But first, I too want to thank the World Olympians Association, the IOC. I'm thrilled, honored, and humbled by the stories. At my age, you think you're forgotten. So it's very exciting to learn that you're not. And I'd like to thank everybody that's ever worked with me, because you know, they're the ones that pulled the events together. They're the ones that made it happen. So, you know, we put up the crazy ideas, they made them work. So I'd like to share this award with them as well. But yeah, I think we're all fortunate, because elite sport led for me into working in what I believe were the fun parts of sport. Elite sport gives you confidence, it gives you focus, the importance of preparation, the opportunity to be creative, the determination to achieve excellence. And all of that's enhanced by the people that you meet, and the wonderful contacts that you make, from, you know, the very highest of levels through down to people who are disadvantaged and who have got a lot to benefit from sport. And I hope that in some way I've helped to improve our society, not only by improving the opportunity for sport, the preparation and presentation of sport, but most of all the enjoyment of sport, because it's got to be about fun. We were always about the quality of the experience, whether that be to the competitors, to the officials, to the spectators, and to the media. And I think that more and more nowadays, that's taken into account, and it has moved on to a much higher level. But I hope it was us that set the high bar, certainly in Britain, for that. We always aim for excellence. And in my case, not quite as many as Koji's, but across a huge range of sports. We created the National Fun Run in London, and that was the predecessor to the London Marathon. But what it showed was that people would travel across from the whole of Britain and from around the world to run together and look at the running movement that's grown from all of that. We created new events for what was sometimes seen as minor sports, a phrase I hate, but ice skaters, Paralympians, athletes, we created new events for those. But we also focused on event presentation, which actually the Olympians chief executive had something to do, because it was he who, when he was head of Channel 4 Sport, said to me, when I go to a track meet, I can't understand. There are 6 things going on at once. Where should I look? So we set about changing that. And I smile now when I see credits for the event team on almost every sports event that you see. And it's become such a significant, important part of our sport to present to the people in the stadium, not just on television. So, you know, I hope all of us will in some way encourage the current competitors to look at their life beyond sport. We're in a privileged position if we have reached the top of sport, the elite of sport. We're role models, we're leaders. We can provide inspiration, as we've heard, and Julius in particular exudes that. But hopefully all of those people, all of those Olympians now coming through, will no longer think, well, what makes my body go faster or makes me stronger or improves my sporting skills, but how can I make a difference to the community that I live in? Because there are many ways that they can achieve that.
Absolutely. Well, you certainly made a difference, and your footprints are everywhere in the world of sport, and we thank you for that. But you're also doing so much in charities and your volunteer work across the UK and around the world. So why is it important for Olympians to give back to their communities in this way?
Well, as I said, you know, I think it's important for competitors to realize that we get into a privileged position of being a role model, and it is a privilege. We have the power to unite, to inspire, and to improve people's lives. You know, I'm sure we'd all admit life as an elite competitor is pretty selfish. It's pretty self-centered. You know, in my day, we had a small group of people, coaches and physios, who helped us to get to that level. Nowadays, the groups tend to be quite a lot larger, but at the end of the day, they're all people that are giving to you, and they're enabling you to perform at the very top level and to give of your best. So once Olympians come out of competitive life, I think it's really important that everybody finds a way of giving something back. More recently, I've been more concerned about the research, which shows the importance of activity to children, for them to be fit, healthy, physically, mentally healthy, and to have their lives develop as a result of that. And the research shows that unless you get them when they're between 2 and 8 years old, it's much, much harder to get them at all. All the work that's done to encourage adults to do sport is playing at the margins. In my view, every child that's not getting enough activity in sport is disadvantaged wherever they come from, whatever their background. So I think it's really important that we look to the future, we look to those youngsters, we get them when they're young, and we get them to enjoy it, because if we don't enjoy it, they won't enjoy it. So yeah, I think it's really important that all of us learn to give back. And I've had some fantastic memories throughout my time. I more recently helped a gymnastics centre to build a brand new facility and help them work through all the bureaucracy to get the money for that. Pre-COVID, 500 young kids were getting the benefit of that every week. And earlier on in my career, I was asthmatic as a kid. And I ran a program of 35 meetings around the country showing that children with asthma that did activity were much better managed asthmatics. And that fundamentally changed the way that family doctors treated young asthmatics. So, you know, we can make a difference, not just in sport, but through the use of activity per se. But I think top of my list has to be, and Koji will relate to this, I was vice chair of London's bid for the 2012 Games. And the reason for that was because I knew that winning the Games would change so many people's lives and bring so much happiness, which of course it did.
Absolutely. Well, we have somebody who is we're moving to next, Rachel, who certainly bringing a lot of happiness to your team in your country, Australia, watching as you compete. She's our only active athlete still competing who is an Olympian for Life recipient. And first, I just want to say thank you for taking your time during this very, very busy schedule there in Tokyo 2020, and congratulations on your win yesterday. So she's still competing and such an inspiration. Thank you so much. And aside from your long and successful career in hockey, you're also a registered nurse. And so when the pandemic hit, you joined the front lines of the fight against COVID-19. So how do you think that the pandemic will reshape sport moving forward, Rachel?
Thanks, Charmaine. Hi, everyone. I'm truly honoured to be here. Thank you very much to the World Olympians Association for this award and for this opportunity tonight. I'd like to say congratulations to Julius, to Donna, Koji and Alan. I feel privileged to even just be in a virtual room with you guys. I'd also like to say a special shout out to my teammates who have stayed up late. They're in the room next door.
I love that. So cool.
We had a big game today, so I'm sure they're all very tired. But yeah, I think look, I feel blessed to be able to say that I'm a nurse. You know, it's a privilege for us to play sport at an elite level, but you know, the thing I really hang my hat on is the fact that I'm a nurse. And yeah, when COVID hit, it was quite a challenging time, I think, for everyone, but certainly for athletes as well, to put your sport on hold. You know, we were obviously preparing for the Olympics, and with 24 hours notice, because we're all based in Perth in Western Australia, we had about 24 hours notice to make a decision where we would either go home to be with our family or stay in Perth. I had a job at a hospital. I'd been working on the same ward for 10 years in neuro rehab. And for me, it was a very easy decision, despite the fact my family are all over East. I knew where I wanted to be, and that was in the hospital and trying to help out. So the journey was a bit of a wild one. I think the pandemic for me personally, you know, one thing that I was really sort of pleased about essentially is it shed some light on our healthcare workers and the importance of the role that they play in society. People use the term frontline workers, and I certainly didn't feel like that. You know, there was people out there that were, you know, treating COVID patients in intensive care units and doing some incredible work, and you know, watching some no doubt quite horrific things go on. But I was glad that I could play a role. My role changed a little bit. I ended up doing COVID testing with a mining company and helping keep COVID out of our mining communities. And Australia obviously did very well with COVID and is still doing particularly well, but it certainly caused troubles for everyone, as we know. I think the other part of the pandemic, it's taught us all the importance of our social conscience and how we need to be able to act selflessly to help the community. You know, things around vaccines, wearing masks. There's lots of people that can't protect themselves the way that, you know, us sort of healthy folk can. And it's important that you play that role. We're seeing it here every day at the Olympics, having to wear masks. You know, it feels like a very small price to pay, the testing we're doing and everything here, because we have this privilege, this opportunity to represent our country and play sport when a lot of people can't even leave their houses at the moment. So I think that's sort of been pretty key. And obviously, as I said, you know, grateful that despite being in a pandemic, Japan and everyone involved has been able to put an Olympics on.
Absolutely. Well, that's just an incredible, inspiring story. And we know that you've also been involved with mental health as a mental health ambassador. So why should Olympians speak out about subjects such as this as well? I know that's been very, very close to you.
It has, yeah. Mental health is really, really important to me, and I feel lucky that I've had a bit of a platform as an athlete. You know, reasonably low profile sport as a hockey player, but it still gives us an avenue to share messages, you know, push for change in areas. For me, it started pretty small, and that was just trying to create positive change in the hockey environment, in the hockey community, around mental health, around looking after yourself, your well-being, having balance. That's been something that I've really driven. I've really pushed as an athlete. My whole career, I've worked as a nurse whilst competing and training as an athlete, usually full-time as well, full-time athlete. And yeah, it's really hard, but I think for us, it's important to have that other side so that we can, you know, ride those highs and lows of sport, but not be defined by it, and have things like, you know, for me, obviously nursing gives you some wonderful perspective on the world. But the mental health, I certainly initiated things in hockey first, in my workplace, just day to day, in my life, trying to practice what I preach and check in on people, you know, make sure they're okay, have that balance, as I said. But at the end of the day, you know, as athletes, we are put on a bit of a stage where we can share messages. So, you know, I firmly believe that that's about being a good person. Mental health is something that I'm always going to push because it's so important and so prevalent. But yeah, just feel very lucky that I have the avenue to be able to do that.
Well, you certainly do, and you certainly have a big team behind you as well. So thank you for all you're doing in so many areas of health. Well, this has just been incredible, and I can certainly stay here forever and speak to all of you. But I know our time is closing here very quickly, and I just want to go back to all of you just for one word. Just if you can leave one word of inspiration, not a sentence, just one word to everyone. So I'm going to go back around real quick and just think about it real quick. So let's just start with Julius. Just one word that describes your experiences and what's happened. Just one word. For me, that word is resilience. What's your word, Julius?
Well, the best word that would tell my future sportsmen and women and my fellow athletes, never give up in life.
Never give up. I love that. I love that. Donna, what's your word? Off mute, please, Donna. Can you hear me? Okay. What does someone come off?
Commitment.
Donna, one word.
Commitment.
Donna. Commitment. Okay, never give up. Commitment. Okay, let's go to Alan. We'll go to Koji last. Alan, what's your word?
More than one word, but have a go and take part.
Have a go and take part. Okay, Koji, one word.
Keep shining. So
Keep
you are
shining.
shining while you are competing, but you are able to keep shining through life.
Keep
All
shining.
you have to do so you have to give it back. Or
I love that too. So we got never give up. I love that. And they're all good. And Rachel, from you, one word from you.
Kindness.
Oh, kindness.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Kindness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Those are all incredible words. And this is why everyone why you're all Olympians for Life recipients this year, your inspiration and your words will certainly resonate. Now, I just have 2 or 3 more things before we close out. And the first one is, of course, a group photo that'll last forever because this talk can't. So I'd like for all of you, to those who do have their certificates, their Olympians for Life certificates, to hold them up, and we're going to have 3 group photos. Okay, so the first one, here we go. So Julius, give a thumbs up. Julius, I know you don't have your certificate, but just give a thumbs up. Okay, take a photo. I know the team's ready. 1, 2, 3, Oli. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, Oli. Okay, we got that photo. Now the next photo will be, we're going to ask His Serene Highness and Joelle to join us for the next photo. Okay, here they are. Okay. Serene Highness has joined us as well. Okay, so we're going to do the next photo. So on the count of 1, 2, 3, let's all look excited. And 1, 2, 3, Oli. Okay, there we go. Okay, and the last photo, I guess they want me in this photo. So, okay, all right. So 1, 2, 3, thumbs up, everybody. Oli. Okay, there we go. Well, hopefully, there we go. Okay, so hopefully that photo and the memories that everyone has heard from this incredible panel and all the amazing speakers that we had to open up this Olympians for Life event, that we can certainly share that. And thank you all for all you continue to do. And the next Olympians for Life ceremony, as we heard, will be in Beijing, when we'll honor 5 more Olympians to be inducted. So for all the Olympians here tonight, just want to remind you to go to Olympians.org and leave your mark on the Oli House interactive map. And for everyone, just another reminder that on Wednesday, August 4th at 8 a.m. in Tokyo, we're going to be meeting more Olympians who are going to be speaking about the 1964 Tokyo Olympic Games. It's free, open, so just go to Olympians.org, register, add your link to Zoom, and join us then as well. So in the meantime, I just want to do one big wave to everybody and thank you all for joining us.